It's all right, because it's the BM show. Say you live in, I don't know, Indiana. All of a sudden, you and maybe 3 of your friends and your principal all moved to Los Angeles together. Imagine if they made a show about this.
Did they really make a show like that?
They really did. You know what it's called? Good Morning, Miss Bliss. It was later changed to Saved by the Bell.
When you wake up in the morning and the longest out of morning, I don't know what the second line is, and I never have.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do a retrospective here. So here's a little bit of history. The show Good Morning, Miss Bliss was supposed to be about Miss Bliss, the teacher. It was originally on the Disney Channel. It lasted for 1 entire season, and then it got canceled. But the guy who made the show, Peter Ungle, went and said, hey, there is something here. After looking at some of the reviews, they liked the students more than they liked the teachers, so Miss Bliss got fired.
Goodbye, Miss Bliss.
They took as many cast members as they could. They moved it from Indiana to Los Angeles, and they called it Saved by the Bell, put it on Saturday mornings on NBC, and people like me grew up with this unrealistic idea of what high school was going to be. Oh, Zach Morris. What a piece of trash that guy is. Some YouTube channel should come up with an ongoing series where they break down all his evil schemes.
I don't think he was as bad as Zach Morris's trash makes him out to be.
They really paint him as an absolute scumbag. Okay, so I watched the episode where I'm so excited. The episode where Jesse gets addicted to caffeine pills. They wanted to make it harder, and the network was like, you're on at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That's a hard no.
Talking about Zach growing up is when we're young, we can only focus on ourselves. We see everything through our perspective. And that's what Zach is. Every single episode, he starts out, he can only see things through his perspective. But by the end, he's grown and he sees things from every perspective. But the Funny or Die took it a little too far. They made an emphasis on Zach Morris wants to exploit his female friends for money. He never really brought up money. And I don't think that seemed like it would be one of the things he would be looking into, but not the only thing.
When I was watching the show as a kid, I used to love watching him try to do these scams because I knew at the end of the day, none of them are going to work. And he is the antagonist protagonist. You don't know which way he's going to go. But you always know that, like, Jesse's always going to go for the right thing. And she's the moral center of the show. The one episode where Jesse becomes the problem and then Zach becomes the one who brings her back. They kind of lost something when they lost the Miss Bliss character. I mean, I think they tried to make up for it a little bit with Jesse because she's got a lot of, like, being now the moral center. But Miss Bliss was a person of authority and Zach looked up to her. Like in the very, very first episode, he's already lying. He comes in and he's like, it's the first day of school. Hey, Zach, what did you do this summer? Oh, I was in summer camp and I told some girl I was in 9th grade and I drive a car.
Oh, no, he didn't bring up the drive a car until a portion into the episode.
After he ran into the girl who now goes to John F. Kennedy Middle School months before a bunch of people said Indiana sucks, let's move to LA.
Do you ever think about the fact that maybe that there's a walkway that went from the middle school all the way to Bayside High?
It was an underground tunnel?
Yeah. No, the schools were built in the 1400s and it catapulted people over.
Let's have Zach Morris and a few of the people that he chooses, which he chose like Screech and he picked Lisa. The rest of his friends, I guess, who needs them. And then like later episodes when Jesse's like his next door neighbor and they grew up together. He's from Indiana. Did Jessie did she go to John F. Kennedy Middle School too, but she just was never on the show? Was she Miss Bliss and Miss Bliss went into a time machine?
That's a good question. Maybe it's like the Benjamin Buttons thing. So as the seasons go along, Jesse just gets younger and younger and younger. We're talking about Zach being trash. Let's talk about Slater being trash.
Yeah, he's a character that was well-rounded in a way that sometimes he was a good guy. And then sometimes, yeah, he was like right there with Zach.
But I mean, he's just up there with Zach's level the majority of the time.
Is it with that one episode where Zach wanted his best friend to move to Hawaii because his best friend was making moves on Kelly Kapowski?
It's kind of nice of him, actually, because, you know, he's concerned about his friend and wants his friend to have a really nice place under the sun where he can relax. And
yeah, I never looked at it that way. You know, I mean, what's better, Los Angeles or Hawaii?
Exactly.
The final season, they did 13 episodes and then the network ordered more. They couldn't lock in Elizabeth Berkley and Tiffany Amber Thiessen in for those extra episodes. So they brought in Tori.
Oh, I remember Tori. Oh my gosh, a biker girl.
So they bring in Tori, never explain to anybody anything, why this is the way it is. You know, they would go and say, oh, geez, it's too bad Jesse and Kelly are away at cheerleader camp. Too bad they had that horrible car accident.
They're dead this week. Next week's looking good for them.
And have like Tori die in a horrible motorcycle accident just to explain why she's not around anymore. You know, Nothing. She just evaporated in the thin air. It's like when they had the summer job and they had Leah Remini playing Zach's love interest, and she evaporated in the thin air once the summer ended. Let's go over the lineage of the whole run of what this show, what it led to. First of all, it came from Good Morning Miss Bliss and became Saved by the Bell. They graduated. It became Saved by the Bell college years.
Yeah, it lasted for one season. I think people were done with it.
Now, when they did the college years, they took Zach, Preach, Slater. I think Kelly was in it too. And then the rest of it were all new cast members, right?
Yeah. Jesse got into Stanford from taking all those caffeine pills.
That's right. And then Lisa went to some fashion academy, if I remember correctly.
It was really a bad move because the whole Lisa Screech thing was going through the whole series.
It's always interesting when they got to replace them with like similar characters.
I don't think Kelly was in the college years at the beginning. Zach was looking at another person.
Well, Zach, of course, was looking at somebody else. At the same time they were doing the college years, they rebooted the show with a whole new cast. They called it The New Class. The first season of The New Class did so well. It was such a blockbuster hit, Mike. They fired the entire cast and recast the entire show with new characters.
They did?
Pretty much. I think like Mr. Belding survived. They brought back Screech. I don't know. I didn't watch it. They did 2 movies. One, they went to Hawaii, and one, they went to Vegas. TBS had the syndication rights. I would watch that every day after school. I would watch Saved by the Bell. And then they would mix in episodes of Good Morning Miss Bliss. They eventually started mixing in episodes of the college years.
So basically, you're watching one episode of Zach and Morris at 12, and the next episode of Zach and Morris at 20.
Yes, that's Saved by the Bell.